It's time to play ball. Welcome to the podcast with no limits. Whether it be sports, current events, or random thoughts, this is the place to step in and stay a while. Your host is a proud alumnus of Rio Hondo Prep, a former minor league baseball umpire, and a man with strong opinions. Welcome to the Get Home Safe podcast and your host, Matt Ursuma.
Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Get Home Safe. It is Monday, May 24th, 2021. We are 1 week away from Memorial Day and the unofficial start of summer. Very excited for that. There are so many great topics to get to today. I got to tell you, when I first started doing the podcast, kind of this new format where we would kind of just be doing a sports recap show. Quite honestly, it was a lot easier in football season because I was like, well, that'll be easy. You just talk about the college football games Saturday and the Sunday NFL games, easy stuff. Well, I was a little concerned after football season how this would go, but so far so good because there's always some great sports topics. This weekend was absolutely loaded with sports and just various subject matter that, again, we're going to cover mostly sports today on our Monday, just me Monday. I don't know. We need an official name for our Monday show, but it's just me today talking about all the great sports topics from the weekend. And there was a ton, whether you like hockey, basketball, NASCAR, golf, college baseball, Major League Baseball. There's a lot of things going on. And it is so refreshing because remember this time last year, we didn't have anything. Everything was shut down. Things were slowly coming back. I think UFC had come back. I forgot to mention UFC and boxing this weekend. I mean, just a ton of stuff. So if you're a sports fan, there's something for everyone out there because we all have various tastes, right? Various flavors and things. So anyway, I want to first get to the PGA Championship. What a weekend it was for golf and for Phil Mickelson, who at 50 years old became the oldest golfer to win a major at 50. Quite impressive feat for Phil. Lefty, as they call him, a guy that has really taken ownership of his not the end of his career, but his older days here in his career. Because the beauty of golf is you can play a long time, but also there's young guys up and coming, guys who are really in great shape and can hit the ball really far. And so for him to do what he did at 50 years old is pretty impressive. Oldest to major winner at 50 years old. It's his second PGA Championship since first time in 2005, and it's his sixth major he's won. So a great career for Phil. What really stuck out to me with the PGA Championship was the crowd, man. The crowd, it was back down in South Carolina, I believe. And it was just awesome seeing so many people those last couple of holes, but especially the walk on 18 and the massive amount of people that follow them. It was like, for me, it told me, you know what, this COVID restriction stuff, especially in sports, is over, because that was awesome that there was people that were just, it was a mob. It was, and Brooks Koepka was a little bummed out by it. You could tell he was a little annoyed by the sea of people around him, but hey, that's life, man. That's life. If you're going to be in the final stage there, if you're going to be in the mix in the final round, then hey, that could potentially happen. So pretty awesome. He won by 2 strokes. Phil Mickelson did. Koepka was there and just, couldn't quite catch him. I thought it was, Phil didn't have an amazing day on Sunday. He did stretch his lead a little bit, but I thought the tournament was really won for him the first 3 days, and his body of work really is what put him in position to win his major, win the championship there. So, but again, the crowds, I mean, the energy, make no mistake about it, I am not a golf expert by any means. And even Valerie, she asked me, so I was kind of looking at the TV, we were out and I was looking at the TV and she's like, what's this new interest in golf? And I said, you know what? I don't know if it's like a passion or anything. It's something that I appreciate more now that I'm older. I said we all evolve and mature a little bit. And there's things I used to love in sports that I don't anymore. And then there's things that I never thought I'd watch, like golf or NASCAR or fighting or a lot of those things that I am definitely intrigued by now. I know how hard golf is. I know. So I'm very impressed by what guys can do and the patience and, all the things that go into it. And plus, if I'm honest with golf, you know what I don't see anywhere is any wokeness. And there's nothing, none of that. It's just, let's play the game. Let's play the match. I don't even know all the terms in golf, but I can get behind it. I can respect it because I know drop my chair here. I know it's fun to play. At times it's frustrating to play. But it's just when you're out on a golf course, it's like, hey, there's no worries, no stress, no anything. It's just like, let's do this. So, congrats to Phil Mickelson, a truly great guy. A guy, he's a lot of fun to follow on social media. If you guys are looking for someone to follow out there, he's just hilarious. So I couldn't be happier for him. One of the great guys in golf, pretty hilarious dude. Arizona State graduate, I believe, played his golf there, and West Coast guy. I think he lives in California. I'm not positive, but Phil Mickelson, lefty. Left-handed people, they're just different breed. My dad's left-handed, and you see a guy throw a football left-handed or shoot a basketball. It's just like, it looks different, but especially a golf swing. You're like, man alive, like, how do you, I can't swing it right-handed. So congrats to Phil Mickelson on the big win over the weekend. And to golf fans out there, man, keep doing what you're doing. Keep coming out in masses like that. I think it's awesome. It shows everyone out there who might be a little worried and scared about crowds gathering that no, everything's just fine. Getting out there and following Phil like they did the other night. If you remember, some of the crowds Tiger Woods used to follow him were just thousands of people. So it reminded me of that. But remember when golf came back, it was no fans. It was eerily quiet. Even after guys would hit the ball, there wouldn't be those guys screaming, get in the hole, all that stuff. And just as he's walking up to the following his shot and everything, you're just hearing everybody, hey, Phil, yeah, go, you could do it, Phil, go, Phil, yeah, great job, Phil. It's like, man, I was blown away by it, just seeing the energy that was back, probably suppressed all these months from the lockdowns and not having golf crowds. And it's reflective of that way in other sports too. I mean, things are opening up more and more here, and I'll talk about this soon, but stadiums are opening up for everyone to get out and watch sports and to let loose and cheer and just be normal again. What a concept. So can't say it enough. I'm not going to break down all of Phil's shots and the things he did. I did watch the final few holes, and he did seem like he was playing things safe, just, chipping it out of the rough or whatever. And just putting himself in good position. His last few shots weren't glamorous, but they were exactly what needed to happen to protect the lead. And everyone wanted him to sink that second to last putt, but he did it on the, he had a stroke or two to work with. So he tapped in the last one there for his PGA Championship. And I'm definitely a fan, a guy that at least for majors is tuning in a lot more to golf. So man, big win over the weekend. That was, I would say, from Thursday through Sunday, if you watch the golf all weekend, really, really cool stuff. I mean, just competitive, great scene there down at the PGA Championship. And I know golf's hard to watch. It is, but I can't sit there and watch hours of it, but I'm learning to watch it and develop a little bit more of an interest. So big win there for Phil Mickelson. Hope you're celebrating this week somewhere, Phil. Okay, let's talk about the NBA playoffs. No, just kidding. We don't talk about the NBA here on this podcast. I had you guys for a second, didn't I? The one thing I will say about the NBA playoffs, it of course is Mr. LeBron James, who is always the center of attention. And, I'm watching a lot of hockey playoffs this weekend, some great games, overtime games. I'm seeing guys taking sticks to the face, and yeah, they go down a little bit. They're spitting up blood, but they get right back out there. Then I see a highlight of LeBron James getting assaulted apparently by Chris Paul. He's a big time enforcer in the NBA. Apparently, I haven't watched any NBA, but apparently, I've missed. I have not seen Chris Paul evolve into this just bash brother of bad boy from the Pistons. I mean, I had no idea. What a shot he gave LeBron after a free throw. He came in and boxed him out, and LeBron went down. Man, he went down. I mean, I didn't know if the NBA hands out Purple Hearts or Academy Awards during the playoffs, but man alive, LeBron James, congrats to you. I don't ever remember seeing Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant look this foolish after getting injured. We've all seen Michael Jordan have to be carried off a floor because he's just so weak from the flu in the NBA finals and can barely walk himself, but scoring points and leading his team. We've all seen Kobe Bryant shoot 2 free throws with a torn Achilles, who couldn't walk, but it was the last thing he was going to do. But I don't remember those guys ever flopping around like a fish out of water, like they were just shot or something. LeBron James, you make me sick, man. Every time with you. Turn on a hockey playoff game and see what real toughness is. Good grief. You guys are spitting blood up everywhere and getting right back out there. No big deal. And I know hockey players are a different breed. They're a different type of toughness, but my goodness, LeBron James go down as this greatest player ever. All this talk, and it's just nonsense. Just nonsense. Maybe he's gotten weakened from all of his activism or something. I don't know. But he absolutely makes me sick. Rolling on the floor after Chris Paul. What's Chris Paul? 6 feet, 6'2", whatever. Little point guard. It's not to say that little guys can't cause damage. I used to be one. I used to be a little thinner and used to knock guys around. But that was my role. I was an enforcer. I was a tough guy. Well, not a tough guy, but a guy that would get in the mix and Anyway, that was high school, way back in the day. But my goodness, Chris Paul, I didn't know he was this big, tough guy, LeBron. Toughen up. Or maybe not tough. Maybe just stop acting. Stop your nonsense. One of the best things I saw was it was a clip where, I don't know if he was awarded an ESPY or something, but they clipped it so that it looked like it was an Academy Award for acting. It was hilarious. So, you guys know my thoughts on LeBron James, but congrats on another Purple Heart, LeBron James. Congrats on that. I mean, man, you are quite the guy. And Chris Paul, stop knocking 6'8" guys around, or 6, whatever LeBron is, big guys out there on the floor, man. Hey, you got to watch yourself. You might have a future in MMA, Chris Paul, with that vicious shot he gave LeBron James. And of course, I'm kidding, because it was barely anything. LeBron James, good grief. Thank goodness you're not someone who's defending us somewhere, because you wouldn't last 5 minutes in a combat type situation. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk a little bit about those NHL playoffs. And the NHL playoffs to me are the best playoffs in all of sports. Right up there, I would go March Madness. I think March Madness is tough to beat. The raw emotion, the instant devastation, right? The upsets you see. They're 18, 19, 20-year-olds who this is probably, for a lot of them, the last time they're going to play basketball, at least at this level. So there's so much that goes into that. But I would argue that the NHL playoffs, as far as raw intensity, holding your breath, just the energy that you see, the physicality, I think the NHL playoffs are second to none, really. And last year they did these playoffs in the bubble, right up there in Canada. I think it was 2 Canada, Toronto and a Vancouver, and it was East and West. And it was awesome for us sports fans, us hockey fans, because you could watch like 5 games in a day, 4 games in a day. If you remember, they were playing games at like 10 a.m. out here on the West Coast, and they would go all day. And for us unemployed, sitting at home in our houses. There was nothing to do but watch hockey all day. I didn't watch the NBA, as I still don't, but the hockey playoffs were outstanding. And I remember sitting there. I've never watched 5 hockey games in a day before. I'm going to do it. And it was a lot of fun. And so this year, there are some differences really in the NHL playoffs. It is just some tweaks they've done. Usually it's 8 teams in the East, 8 teams in the West, 1 versus 8, blah, 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 so on, a bracket, best of 7 series all the way through. So 4 rounds, right? First round, second round, conference finals, Stanley Cup final. So anyway, this year's a little different. They're doing like these 14 pods. And a big reason for that is because Canada has more restrictions than America does as far as travel. They don't want people crossing to and from the border. So the 7 Canada teams have played each other all season. They've played each other all just them. And everyone's kind of played just divisional games anyway. But it's been a Canada division. Only teams up there playing each other. And I heard a stat that I couldn't believe. I could not believe. Hockey is very Canadian, right? And it's not like there's not Canada players on American teams, but still, those people live and breathe, live and die with NHL hockey up there. And I couldn't believe that there has not been a Canadian team Stanley Cup winner since like the early 90s. I mean, we're talking almost 30 years, 25 plus years. I was like, that can't be right. And it's pretty wild to hear that. Let me see here just to make this official. Last Canada. I love the internet. Sometimes it knows exactly what you're looking for. And it just like, oh, here's your looks like 1993 was the last Canada team. That just shocks me, man. Let's see, 1993. Yeah, Pittsburgh, Detroit, Anaheim, Carolina, Tampa Bay. Man, we're scrolling back. Montreal Canadiens, 1993. Of course, how could we forget that one? They defeated the LA Kings by a series of 4-1. So 1993, and then of course in the 80s and 90s, there's a ton of Canada teams. But 93, that's a long time. What is that? 28 years? Oh my goodness, that's just crazy to think about. So, and then you got these Canada teams, and there's pods, so only one team's going to come out of that. So they'll have a 1 out of 4 chance, I guess, in competing for a Stanley Cup. But I mean, think about that. That is really, really, really odd that a team from Canada hasn't won that long. But anyway, let's get to the some of the playoff pods here in the first round. And just so you guys know, so here's kind of the matchups. You got it's kind of divisional, I guess you would say, for this first round or the kind of the playoff pods. So they want someone to kind of come out of each region. So you have a Western, a North, which is the Canada division. You have a Central, and you have an East. So 4 teams in each of those. Obviously, one team's going to come out of each region. So kind of like a Final Four type, Final Four March Madness type of thing. But anyway, in the East, you got Pittsburgh against the New York Islanders and Washington against Boston. In the Central, you got Carolina versus Nashville, 2 Southern teams, and then and then Florida against Tampa Bay, 2 Florida teams. So it should be called the Southern Division there for just it happened to be that way. But the Northern teams, you got Toronto against Montreal, Edmonton against Winnipeg, and in the West, Colorado versus St. Louis, and Vegas versus Minnesota. So let's go to each of those right now as to where we're at. Let's see, as far as Pittsburgh and the New York Islanders in the East, it appears here that Pittsburgh, let's see, 1-2, it looks like that series is tied 2-2, game 5 on Monday. Game 1 of that series went triple overtime with the Islanders coming out with a 4-3 victory. So an even series there. The other series in the East, Washington Capitals and the Boston Bruins. Capitals with game 1, game 2. Bruins came back in double overtime to get a win in game 3. And then the Bruins won again in game 4 and game 5. So the first 2 games, the Capitals win. And then the next 3, the Bruins win. So game 6 upcoming. Bruins lead 3-2 in that series. I know Boston native Bill Burr's watching that with all his might. So that's got to be tough. You go down 2-0, 0-2, however you want to say it, and then you rally. And the first 3 games of that series were overtime games, including a double overtime game in game 3. So that's another thing about playoff hockey, is that it seems like every other game goes to overtime, or which is awesome, because then it's like sudden death, right? Oh, can we still say that? Is that term offensive? Have we changed that overtime term yet? Sudden death. I'm sure that'll get changed in our woke culture here upcoming at some point. But for now, we can say that, and we'll probably still say it, even if you can't. Okay. That takes us to the Central Division, Carolina and Nashville. I actually watched a good portion of this game on Sunday, and back and forth, great game. You want to talk about overtime? This game, the game 4 went double overtime, and it was the Predators, the Nashville Predators, who took down the Hurricanes 4-3. So that series looks like the Hurricanes took the first 2 games, and the Predators take the next 2 games, both double overtime games. So that series is tied 2-2. That's the other thing you see about playoff hockey is, sure, there's sweeps, sure, there's some 5-game series that end, but a lot of them are close. They do have this back and forth feel to them that you see a lot, and so that's another reason I love this this playoff stuff. Okay, to the Florida games. Florida against Tampa Bay. I believe Tampa Bay, the defending Stanley Cup champions. How weird is that to say? The Lightning took the first 2 games of the series, with Carolina winning game 3 in overtime 6-5. Let's see. The Lightning, Tampa Bay came back in game 4. So Tampa Bay has a 3-1 lead in the Battle of Florida in the central division of the playoffs, we'll say. So game 5 coming up Monday, and very exciting series there to see the hopefully the defending champions advance there and are still in the mix here as we go forward in the NHL playoffs. Okay, to the Northern Division, the Canada Division. Toronto against Montreal. Looks like Montreal took game 1, Toronto game 2. They've only played 2 games in that series, so they're tied at 1-1, with game 3 being Monday. I'm not sure why they're behind so much there, but probably has to do with the whole Canada thing, maybe, or just, I don't know, being a little behind in their schedule. This game, I watched a good portion of the Winnipeg Jets against the Edmonton Oilers, and I got much love for Winnipeg a little bit in a couple summers ago. My good friend Hank Lemoyne, who's a big Winnipeg Jets fan, came on this program a little bit, a long time ago, actually, to talk about umpiring baseball and being from Canada, the passion for the NHL up there. But anyway, I love the Peg. Go Jets. And let's see, the Jets took the first 3 games of this series. Yesterday, it was an overtime game, and Edmonton had, I think, a 2-goal lead, and the Jets rallied. So Winnipeg wins 5-4 in overtime to beat the Edmonton Oilers and take a 3-0 lead in the Northern region of the NHL playoffs. That takes us out here to the West. And let's see, Anaheim, Los Angeles, no. How about San Jose? Nope. No California teams. We got 3 of them, for goodness sake. 2 of them here in Southern California, and neither of them made the playoffs, unfortunately. Tough year for Southern California hockey. But we move on. Western Division, the number 1 seed Colorado Avalanche against the St. Louis Blues. The Avalanche dominated this series from start to finish, sweeping St. Louis. Sorry, my buddy Aaron Reynolds out there, the St. Louis native. I know he's a huge Blues fan. Maybe next year. You know, the Blues won the Stanley Cup a few years ago. So, hey, you had the cup. You're out this year already. It is what it is. But Colorado Avalanche advance to the second round with a sweep of St. Louis. And finally, the Vegas Golden Knights against the Minnesota Wild. I guess the Vegas team is the closest team we have out here in the West, as far as they're not Californian, but hey, close enough maybe. The Minnesota Wild took game 1 in overtime against the Knights. The Knights took games 2 and 3 and 4. So the Golden Knights, after dropping the first game, are now ahead 3-1 with game 5 happening on Monday. So quite a bit of hockey games today, Monday, going on, that if you're a hockey fan, be sure to tune in. And a lot of those are game 4s, games 5s, kind of big games in the series. And so hopefully this thing gets sorted out here in a couple days and we'll be into the second round. But I am just ecstatic with the hockey playoffs. Again, I saw some guys take sticks to the face. They go down, they get up, they battle. I mean, just the toughness, every whistle, man, those referees skating in, breaking up fights nonstop. And it's hilarious, really, to see the, how would you say it? The, what's it called when you, not contradicting. Anyway, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Where you compare and contrast. Oh, I can't think of the word. You guys out there can help me out sometime. But anyway, the NBA playoffs versus the NHL playoffs. I do see some highlights here and there on the NBA stuff, but I'm not like seeking it out, because when I say I'm not going to watch the NBA playoffs, I mean it. And I've been sober over a year now from the NBA and couldn't be happier. I do see, again, some of the Lebron flopping and some highlights of shots and things. But hey, I'm not tuning in because I frankly don't care. There's better options out there. We got NHL playoffs. We got fights. We got golf. We got all kinds of stuff. So I will cover that stuff. I will watch that stuff and take my time, enjoying some of that stuff. Let's see some NFL news that broke today. Again, they're kind of stirring things up. The OTAs for the Green Bay Packers, someone who was not present was Aaron Rodgers, who did not report. He was not among the group of players who reported to Lambeau Field on Monday. So take with that with you wish. I'm not going to speculate or get too much into that because there's other things to talk about. But that divorce seems to be headed to a divorce here very, very soon. Let's see. You guys know I love fighting. I love boxing, specifically MMA too, UFC. But the best fight I saw over the weekend was Josh Taylor from Scotland against Jose Ramirez, a California kid, Mexican-American, who fought each other for the junior welterweight title. And what was great about this fight is that it was undisputed. It was two guys with two belts. There's 4 governing bodies in boxing: the IBF, WBA, the WBC, and the WBO. So Taylor had 2 belts. Ramirez had 2 of those belts. So this was for the undisputed title. There haven't been very many undisputed title holders in the 4-belt era. There were, a few undisputed guys when there was a 2-belt era and so on. But there's only been, this fight was going to be to determine who would be the 6th, only the 6th ever undisputed champion in the 4-belt era, not in this weight class ever. So pretty big fight on Saturday night that, I don't know, I thought quietly happened. Like there was the NBA playoffs kind of going on before and after it. And this fight was just kind of like, it was propped up a decent amount, but I thought a way bigger deal than maybe people made it out to be. So there's a little guys fighting, 140 pounds or whatever. And I really enjoyed this fight. I have a few friends who are of Scotland descent, right? And so I was talking with them and they were pretty excited about this fight. And when it started, Jose Ramirez, who was 26-0, by the way, with 17 knockouts, going up against Josh Taylor, who's 17-0 with 13 knockouts. So Ramirez had as many knockouts as Taylor had wins, but both guys were undefeated. And Taylor, a knockout artist himself, with 13 of his 17 wins coming by way of knockout. This fight started, and Jose Ramirez, he looked really, really good in the early rounds. And I mean really, really good. Taylor probably won the first round, but not by much. And it was Ramirez who really put on a clinic the next few rounds, definitely winning the next 3. They go into the 5th. It was kind of balanced there, but Ramirez clearly the better fighter in the early rounds of the fight, pushing Taylor up against the ropes, just constantly attacking him. Taylor kind of didn't look like he knew what hit him, no pun intended. He was kind of, I don't know if he was holding back or what the deal was, but everything turned, everything changed in the 6th round. Within 10 seconds, I think it was the first 10 seconds of the 6th round, Taylor knocked down Ramirez and a pretty good strike that dropped him. And he was able to get up and continue. But that changed everything. I mean, that changed the how each guy was carrying himself. Taylor just like looked like he turned it on. He was like, okay, now it's my fight. Now it's my turn. And Ramirez never really recovered from that first knockdown. Then in the 7th round, Ramirez gets knocked down again, this time pretty late up against the bell. The bell may have saved him as far as Taylor coming back and putting on an assault on him. But back-to-back knockdowns in the 6th and the 7th for Josh Taylor. That all but decided the fight, really, because from then on, Taylor probably, won a lot of the remaining rounds. Ramirez put up a little bit of a fight towards the end, and it came down to the scorecards, and it was a very, very tight scorecards. All 3 judges had it 114, 112. So it was, in fact, the 2 knockdowns that made the difference for Josh Taylor, because when you have a knockdown, for those that don't know, and I'm still learning all these things, but in boxing, every round is decided who won the round, right? And it's scored 10-9. The winner gets 10, the loser is 9. And if you get a knockdown in the round, then it goes 10-8. So those 2 points, courtesy of the 2 knockdowns for Taylor, are what really won him the fight. As far as the knockdown in the 6th and the 7th, that's where you got the 2-point advantage there. So 114 to 112, great fight. Josh Taylor, the undisputed champion of the world in the junior welterweight division, improves to 18-0, Scotland's finest. One of the biggest athletes in Scotland history now with that big win, and couldn't be happier for him. And to Jose Ramirez, nothing to hold your head down about. I applaud both of these guys for putting their belts on the line, for fighting the other guy, the other best in their division, their weight division. We need to see more of this in boxing. We need to see more guys that aren't afraid to fight the best in the business, not afraid to go out there and put themselves out there. Maybe, there's always potential to lose, but not just continue to go through the motions, but to go up against the best. That's what's going to help boxing, really come out of its shell again and draw interest from people. Because when you don't put fights together, the fights that need to happen with the belt holders and the champions, come on, you don't always want to just see these mandatory challengers. You want to see good fights. And it was a great fight on Saturday night. I was very excited for it. It absolutely delivered start to finish. Ramirez dominated early, and then Taylor just flipped a switch and took it to Ramirez. Ramirez held his own. He was getting beat up, but he kept battling, kept fighting. But it was Josh Taylor who ultimately took it to the cards and was victorious. So congrats to him. It'll be interesting to see if maybe he goes up in weight class to welterweight. That's a very crowded division. Some incredible fighters there. Errol Spence, Sean Porter, who else is up there? Terrence Crawford. So I don't know if he's going to want to do that, but we'll see. Going up to 147 in the welterweight. But for now, the junior welterweight champ is Mr. Taylor. So congrats to him. There was some other boxing news kind of throughout the week. Last week, remember, I said, guys, this is incredible. We have the biggest fight in British history. We got Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury. I can't wait. It's going to be spectacular, blah, 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 blah. Well, unfortunately, there was this, not a lawsuit, but this pending law situation between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. If you remember, Tyson Fury defeated Deontay Wilder right before I think it was 2020, 29. No, it was 20. I forget, man. I think it was 2020, February of 2020, I believe. Anyway, it could have been. That was a pretty big fight, a rematch of the two of them, undefeated. They had fought each other before, and it was a draw. Anyway, Fury knocked out Wilder, or, his corner threw in the towel. And Wilder had this pending litigation, I guess, that because he was entitled to a third fight, apparently the loser was entitled to a rematch, a 3-match, if you will. And Fury had waited and waited and waited. I think a lot of it had to do with the 2020 lockdown situation and everything. And so he finally was going to move on and fight Anthony Joshua. Well, whatever the case is, Fury was determined to have to fight Wilder in this third fight. So it's unfortunate for boxing fans, because that fight now needs to happen before Anthony Joshua. And Anthony Joshua was calling out Tyson Fury on social media, and Fury responded. It was pretty great. Again, Tyson Fury is pretty hilarious and motivational. Great guy to follow on social media if you're looking for someone. But what we do have now is that previously spoken of Joshua Fury fight is now off, at least for now. They're going to try to get that in at the very end of 2021 here, probably December. But in July 24th to be exact, Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder will in fact fight a third time. And then after that, hopefully it's Fury and Joshua. Anthony Joshua is going to have to fight someone as well, a mandatory challenger, Usyk, I believe is his name. So he'll be fighting around the similar time, maybe in August, maybe July. I'm not positive yet what the details are, but they're going to fight. So hopefully both those guys win, and we still have that big fight scheduled for Saudi Arabia, one of the biggest fights in boxing history. Deontay Wilder looks good in some of his training and everything, but I still think Tyson Fury is the better boxer, and he'll probably beat him again. But now we all hold our breaths, because we don't want to miss out on the Tyson Fury Anthony Joshua fight. Wilder Joshua would be cool too, but I just think the fact that both guys are from Britain, both guys are, polarizing. I would much rather prefer that. So hoping that the Fury Wilder fight not only delivers on the 24th of July, but also that Fury comes out on top and keeps things as is and on schedule to fight Anthony Joshua later in the year. Another big fight that was announced, Manny Pacquiao. Yes, Pac-Man coming not out of retirement, but, he's an older guy, and he's going to fight Errol Spence on August 21st for the welterweight title. Big story there, because this could potentially be Manny's last fight. I know we say that every time he fights. He hasn't fought in like 2 or 3 years, but he's going to get a title shot against Errol Spence. So I'm pretty excited for this here. Although I'm thinking, man, I thought Manny had one of the belts himself in that division. I could be wrong, because I thought when he defeated Keith Thurman that he did have one of the belts there in that division. That round, that's I should say that again, that division, that's a welterweight division is just loaded, man, with some incredible fighters. Even guys that don't have belts, like I mentioned, Thurman and Porter, those guys, man, they're dang good fighters. But the champions in that division are just a cut above. Okay, let me see here. Welterweight division. That is no, it does not look like Pacquiao has a belt anymore. Terrence Crawford has one, and Errol Spence has 2 belts. So the IBF and the WBC title will be on the line when Errol Spence Jr. and Manny Pacquiao get in the ring on August 21st. Can't wait for that one. So kind of a cool monthly schedule there. We got Fury Wilder in July, and then Spence Pacquiao late August, right before football season. So some good fights here upcoming. It's just a bummer that we're not seeing the biggest one in boxing. Again, people making mistakes, dragging their feet, whatever the excuse is. It's unfortunate that we can't see the fights we want to see, but these aren't too bad. Pacquiao against Spence is great, and Fury Wilder 3, I'll watch it for sure. I think it's going to be fought at Allegiant Stadium, the Raiders Stadium in Vegas. So I don't know if they're going to get that whole Canelo crowd that they got in Dallas, but it seems to me that for some of these bigger fights, they are attempting to fight them in bigger stadiums, football stadiums, to see if they can fill them. So that seems to be the way forward here for boxing, at least at the time being. So some exciting fights coming up. And again, congrats to Josh Taylor on the junior welterweight undisputed World Championship. Enjoy that for the time being. All right, let me take a breather here and more coffee. It is Monday morning as I record here, and I told you guys before, with Mondays, I'm a little slower in getting the show out. That's just how it is. But just as a quick reminder too, guys, continue to follow the podcast. Voice messages, I don't get many, but those are always fun because it's like callers calling in, kind of, right? Leave a voice message like you would for a voicemail for someone. 1 minute limit. It'd be great to hear from some of you guys with your questions. Plus, you get to hear someone else other than me on the podcast. That's always nice. Okay, I'm going to take a breather from sports for a second, and I want to talk about. So I want to go to our Suds with Studs segment that we do on Mondays. Usually, didn't get to it last week. Quite honestly, my heart was somewhere else. But on that note, I do want to say I should have opened the show with this, but Pete Clark, who I told you guys last week was in the hospital, things were not looking good. I got to say that, God is good and the power of prayer is real. And Pete Clark is doing extremely well. He's not out of the woods. He's got a long road ahead of him health-wise, but from where he was to where he is now is truly remarkable. And he's up, he's alert, he's able to talk and communicate just fine with his friends and family. So that was something truly inspiring this week to hear and see. And I just could not be happier for him and the Clark family, his wife, just everyone. So, man, all the support we've seen for Pete Clark over the past week or so has been just unbelievable. And I am so happy to see photos and things of him. He's in the hospital bed still. I know he can't wait to get out and run around probably and coach some games or something, but he's got a long recovery and looking forward to chatting with him down the road sometime because I know he's a fighter and has really inspired all of us. So much love to Pete Clark and family. Couldn't be happier for the way things are going. And man, it's a great, it's got to inspire all of us to live our best life and to do all we can each and every day, because I'm just blown away by his fighting, his ability to conquer adversity and just inspire us all. I can't say it enough. Okay, I want to get to our Suds with Studs segment here. And this is a very recent Suds with Studs honoree, although it's a gentleman that is a rather older gentleman. And it's someone who was recently awarded the Medal of Honor. And it's a Korean war hero. So quite some time ago, and we call this segment, guys, Suds with Studs, because, of course, these are people that we would love to sit down and have a beer with, and not just by the first round, but every single round. And we try to honor heroes, police officers, law enforcement, people that just, again, inspire and have sacrificed so much for us. So this is to someone who was recently awarded the Medal of Honor by President Biden, a Korean War veteran, Colonel Ralph Puckett Jr., 94 years young. How about that? Pretty cool to see someone honored, although maybe some would argue it should have been sooner. But I'm going to read to you the article here from Fox News honoring Mr. Ralph Puckett. So here we go. This is our weekly segment we do on Mondays, Suds with Studs. This is from Fox News. President Biden awarded the Medal of Honor to Colonel Ralph Puckett on Friday, more than 70 years after Puckett's act of service during the Korean War. Puckett was the recipient of Biden's first Medal of Honor for his leadership during the war, where he risked his own life to draw enemy fire away from his platoon. The president said he was incredibly proud to give the nation's most prestigious military honor to the colonel and called the award long overdue. Today, after more than a decade of effort, including support from my good friend John McCain, God rest his soul, I'm incredibly proud to give Colonel Ralph Puckett's acts of valor the full recognition they have always deserved, Biden said. South Korean President Moon Jae-in attended the ceremony along with Biden, and he was in Washington for a summit between the two world leaders. Moon addressed the event and spoke in Korean, saying he found it incredibly meaningful to attend the ceremony. He said he was the first foreign leader to attend a Medal of Honor ceremony and hugged Puckett after giving his address. Biden said after Moon attended the ceremony, was an important recognition of all nations have achieved together. Let's see here. Moving forward, Biden said that in preparation for the ceremony, 94-year-old Puckett asked, "Why all the fuss? Can't they just mail it to me?" Well, I think that is really speaks to the man's character, Mr. Puckett, and his incredible humble attitude. Just mail me the Medal of Honor. No big deal. I don't need all this fuss and recognition. Wow, what an incredible guy. That is that is something else. Okay, Puckett, at the time a first lieutenant and commander of the 8th U.S. Army Ranger Company, held a strategic position near Unsan, known as Hill 205, for 2 days in November 1950, while fighting off numerous enemy attacks and suffering multiple wounds. Puckett's unit launched a daytime offensive on Hill 205, and in return, enemy forces launched mortar, machine gun, and small arms fire toward them. While enemy fire rained down on his platoon, Puckett left the relative safety of his position to run across an open area 3 times to distract the enemy and draw fire away from his unit. This allowed his unit to find and destroy enemy positions and seize Hill 205, the White House said. Puckett was seriously wounded when mortar rounds landed in his foxhole, limiting his mobility. He ordered his men to evacuate and leave him behind, but they refused. While under enemy fire, the Rangers retrieved Puckett from the foxhole and brought him to the bottom of the hill, where he directed operations against the enemy. First Lieutenant Puckett's extraordinary heroism and selflessness above and beyond the call of duty were in keeping with the highest tradition of military service, the White House said in a statement. At one point, Puckett arose slowly to stand beside the president as an aide read out the story of his heroism. Another aide put his walker squarely in front of him, but Puckett brushed it off to the side. At one point during the reading, an aide and Biden grabbed his arm on each side before Biden hung the medal around Puckett's neck. Puckett, after the Korean War, spent about a year in combat as a member of the 101st Airborne in Vietnam. In 1992, he was an inaugural inductee into the U.S. Army Ranger Hall of Fame. Puckett lives in Columbus, Georgia, with his wife of 68 years. Incredible stuff there from Colonel Puckett at the time. What was it? A lieutenant. I can't think of not just running out into a field to get fire on you to get it away from your men, but then to tell your men after you're injured, leave me here. You guys got to get out of here and just continue to fight. And what an unbelievable story that, man, Mr. Puckett here, 94 years old. And yes, I agree, much overdue on the Medal of Honor recognition. I don't know what took so long, but that's the thing about a lot of the Medal of Honor winners and people who are candidates. I think there's so many of them out there that have done tremendous acts like this. And, oh man, let me see here. Defense policy lifted. 5-year limit was waived. Puckett and 3 other U.S. service members. Okay, so there's some logistical things there that I won't read. But anyway, to Colonel Ralph Puckett, sir, congratulations on an award, the Medal of Honor. Well deserved. More than 70 years after your active service. So for those of you guys out there that maybe think you deserve things more, and you deserve that promotion maybe a little quicker than you do, or you deserve maybe that new job, or to get into a school maybe sooner, or whatever the case is, a new car. Think about a man who did something so incredible 70 years ago and is finally being acknowledged for it with the Medal of Honor at 94 years old. I think we can all learn something from that. So to to Ralph there, excuse me, I almost forgot his name. Congrats again to you, sir, on Sorry here. It's been a long morning. Congrats on the Medal of Honor, sir. You are a true hero, someone we want to continue to honor here on our Suds with Studs segment. You are absolutely someone I would love to have a beer with, and not just by the first round, but every single round. So again, congrats to Colonel Ralph Puckett on the Medal of Honor for his heroism in the Korean War, and one of many people we want to continue to honor here on our weekly segment, Suds with Studs. Okay, we're going to need more coffee, more water this morning to keep moving forward here. I do have some things that I'll get to with Bill Barnes on Wednesday. Hopefully you guys are looking forward to that upcoming. And if you have any questions or whatever for me or Bill, be sure to get in those questions and things in a timely manner. I'll put out a show with Bill on Wednesday. We're going to record our little pre-show and do our recording on Tuesday. At least that's the plan for now. So that'll give you a little time frame. Okay, real quick about let's go into some more sports stuff. Again, I always comment on ejections and things that I see in Major League Baseball because you see more of it there. But there was an ejection. Mike Matheny for the Royals got ejected on Sunday, I believe. And it wasn't so much, we don't have to go into all the details of what happened, but Steve Physiok, who's the broadcaster for the Royals, him and Rex Huddler, they used to be Angels broadcasters way back in the early 2000s during their World Series run and everything. I always actually liked listening to them, especially Rex Huddler. He's great. He's just a grinder baseball player, right? But Physiok said something that I think a lot of broadcasters and probably fans think about, and it just rubbed me the wrong way. First base umpire Adrian Johnson ejected Mike Matheny after a hit by pitch where he said the batter swung. So it's a hit by pitch, but it's a swinging strike. You stay at the plate. Matheny was arguing it. I think he was going back to the dugout and said something to Johnson at first base, who made the call, and Johnson ran him. So Steve Physiok's comment was, I don't understand why umpires just don't turn around and walk away. Now, I don't know where this thought process comes from. Like, I cannot think of another line of work, any profession where it's like, hey, if someone's yelling at you, turn around and walk away. I don't understand. Here's the problem, Steve, that if someone barks at you and you turn around and ignore it, you just showed everyone in that dugout that they can yell at you and there's no repercussion. And it also shows everyone in the other dugout that they can do the same thing. So you have to respond. Keep in mind, someone is saying something to you that they want you to hear. I cannot, rabbit ears, you can't hear everything. The person is saying something to you that they want you to hear. So, what do you mean turn around and run away? If I came into your broadcast booth and started yelling at you, you would just ignore me? It doesn't work that way. And Rex Huddler, God bless him, he's like, yeah, he's just fighting for his team. Like, he was just like, nah, that's part of the game, blah, blah, blah. They're literally yelling at you so that you respond. If you don't respond, everyone will see what happened. And you also don't know what was said. I love what broadcasters just think what is said is just something innocent and harmless. Meanwhile, as I've mentioned, it could be a situation that you're not allowed to argue at all, such as a swing, that you're not. By rule, you're not allowed to argue it. So you tell me a job in life somewhere that you're supposed to be yelled at and ignore, criticized and ignore. I mean, a police officer, you yell at him, he's just supposed to ignore it. Like, what job? What job out there? School teacher? Kid yells at the teacher, and you're just supposed to, I'll ignore the kid. I'll turn around, I'll walk away. No, I don't know where that logic comes from. Well, he was staring at him. Well, yeah, you're staring at him because he's yelling at him. What do you want him to do? Someone yells at me on the street, I'm gonna look over at him like, you want my attention? You're trying to get, that's my point. You're trying to get my attention as an umpire. And then some guys do the cowardly thing where they'll say something and hide in the dugout. That's cowardly. I have zero respect for that. But if you're going to yell at someone or say something from afar, you want their attention. So then you give them their attention, and then, let's just watch the game. Just, all that nonsense. Just turn around and walk away. What are you talking about? If I yelled at you, you would not turn around and walk away. I don't understand where this comes from. So Steve Physiak, I actually like some of your work, but I thought you were dead wrong there in that ejection. Upcoming is college baseball. We have some conference tournaments upcoming this weekend. We have the two big conferences, obviously the ACC and the SEC. A lot of teams in the top 10, top 25 in the ACC and in the SEC. So we're going to give them a little attention here. And then the only tournament that's going on out here on the West Coast is the WAC, the Western Athletic Conference. The Mountain West is not doing a conference tournament this year. The West Coast Conference is not doing a conference tournament. The Big West does not have a tournament, and the Pac-12 does not have a tournament. So I don't know where you guys stand on conference tournaments in basketball and baseball. I actually like them because I think it's a way for, maybe that 6 seed or whatever to get in the tournament. I know it takes away from another at-large or something, but I kind of like it. I like the conference at the end. I don't think every team should get in, but I think, your top, 4 or 6 teams getting in a tournament to play out to determine a champion. I like that. I don't know why, but I do. So some conference tournaments upcoming here. Let's talk West Coast baseball here for a minute and the WAC. And you may not know all the teams out here in the Western Athletic Conference, but the tournament has been announced. It looks like it's a 6-team. Let's see. Sacramento State is the 2nd seed. The not Cal Baptist, excuse me. Grand Canyon is the Antelopes is the number 1 seed. They are from where down in Arizona. The tournament will be down in Mesa, Arizona. So the Antelopes of Grand Canyon are the 1 seed. Sacramento State is the 2 seed. It looks like University of Texas Rio Grande Valley is the 3rd seed. Yes, there's a team from Texas down in who plays in the WAC, and there's also a team in Chicago State. I don't know if they're playing baseball anymore, but the 4th seed is New Mexico State. Seattle University is the 5th seed, and let's see, the final spot, the 6th seed will go to Utah Valley. So those 6 teams, starting on Wednesday, will play it out to determine who will be the WAC champion and who will advance to the NCAA tournament. With a conference like the WAC, you're probably only looking at a one bid conference. So whoever wins that tournament is probably going to advance or will advance. So if you're a 1 seed or a 2 seed and you were projected to maybe go to the NCAA tournament and you don't show up in your conference tournament, well, tough luck. Okay, the Big West. Let's look at the Big West standings. Currently, UC Irvine is 28-8. They have the 1 seed. They play Fullerton this weekend in a 4-game series, so they should win that series and advance as the Big West champions. UC Santa Barbara is right behind them. They're 3 games back with 4 to play, so I don't think Santa Barbara catches them. They're 25-11. I think both of those schools probably go to the NCAA tournament. After that, it gets kind of watered down. Long Beach State, Cal State, Northridge, each with over 20 wins, but I don't think it's going to be enough for either of them to get in the tournament. So I think the Big West, you're looking at 2 UC schools in Irvine and Santa Barbara that will more than likely advance to the NCAA tournament. These other schools that aren't playing a conference tournament this week, they will have another series, like regular, and then the following week, which will be the weekend after Memorial Day. It's all pushed back a little bit this year. Will be the NCAA tournament, the 64-team field regional, 16 4-team regionals. So let's go to the Mountain West. 2 top teams here are the University of Nevada up in Reno. They are 21-18. overall. They are the 1 seed in the Mountain West so far. San Diego State's behind them at 28-15, followed up by UNLV, Air Force, each of them with 20 and 24 wins respectively, but haven't played well in conference, kind of playing 500 baseball, 15-15 in conference, 15-12. So I think, if I'm honest, I think 2 teams probably from the Mountain West in Nevada and San Diego State. But again, this is a conference where you typically don't get a ton of teams in. So I think it's going to be tough for them to get 2 teams in, but I cannot see any more than that for sure. You'll get the champion and maybe the next best team in. So keep your eye out for that. That'll take us to the West Coast Conference. Let's see our standings here. Gonzaga at 32-15 overall is the top of the conference, followed by San Diego, who's 31-11. So 2 30-win teams there in Gonzaga and San Diego. I think they both get in. After that, again, it gets kind of watered down with San Francisco, BYU, Portland, and LMU, each of them with 20 wins, but also 20 losses, 20 plus losses. So I think San Diego and Gonzaga each get in the NCAA tournament. So of all the teams out here, of the conferences in the West Coast, it does look like 2 from the Big West, 2 from the Mountain West, 2 from the West Coast, and probably just 1 in the WAC. Let's go to the Pac-12. Arizona won the conference championship officially over the weekend. With how the standings go, they are 38-14 overall. Oregon is behind them at 35-13. The Pac-12 has, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams that have won 30 plus games. So the standings as of now are Arizona 38-14, Oregon 35-13, Stanford 31-13, Arizona State 32-17, UCLA 32-18, and Oregon State 33-20. Some decent records there. I don't know if all 6 teams are going to get in. It's the Pac-12. It's the Power 5 conference, right? So maybe all 6 of those guys get in, maybe only 4. I'm going to project that probably 5 Pac-12 teams get in. Someone's going to be left without a chair when the music stops. But you know what? You got to make some room here for all the teams in the SEC that are going to be getting in, all the teams in the ACC, because that conference, both of those conferences, have a ton of talent and just really good teams moving forward here. So let's look at, what did I do here? Oh, I want to look briefly at the SEC and ACC tournaments, since those are the 2 best conferences in America. Let's not make no doubt about it here. But what these conferences do, I believe, is they do like a pool play thing, where it's like 2 pools of either 6 or 8 teams even. And okay, are those national? Oh man, so they might even have more teams than normal. So it's pool play. This is the ACC. Excuse me. Okay, ACC Baseball Championship will have pool play format leading into a 4-team single elimination bracket. So each team is in the 4 pools. 4 pools. So 4 pools of what? 3 teams probably. The 4 teams will then the 4 teams advance, and you got your winners there. So that's what it looks like, is that 14. So 12 teams in the ACC look to be getting in. NC State is joined in Pool C by Carolina, and so 4 3-team pools. So you play your 2 teams. So probably the teams that go 2-0 will advance. There's probably tiebreakers and things, but it'll go into a 4 teams advance to the Saturday semifinals, and then Sunday the championship game, respectively, for the ACC. So that's how that is going. Just in case you guys were curious, how do you play a baseball tournament? And then finally, the SEC, I think it's pretty similar, but I could be wrong. Looks like first round is okay. There we go. So the first round on Tuesday is single elimination, and that is for the teams seeded 5 through 12. So 5 plays 12, 9 plays 8, 10 plays 7. So 12 teams get in the SEC tournament. You go into Wednesday, and the 4 winners of those games will advance to face the 1 through 4 seeded teams. So starting Wednesday, and you got double elimination games going Wednesday, going Thursday. And again, that'll all lead up through Friday to the semifinals, which is Saturday. So 4 teams will come out of those 12 and play single elimination games on Saturday, the 29th. The 2 winners advance to the championship game on Sunday. So again, that's some look into the SEC tournament. And again, if you look at the overall national standings here, the SEC is just absolutely loaded. They are. It seems like the top 25 is all SEC teams. If I can pull that up, it looks okay. So for now, this is updated as of Monday. Arkansas, number 1. Texas, number 2. They're a Big 12 team, we know, but you got Vanderbilt 3, Tennessee 4, Texas Tech 5, Arizona from the Pac-12 there at 6, Notre Dame and the SEC is 7, Mississippi State 8, Stanford 9, Oregon 10. So look at those 3 teams in the Pac-12 definitely getting in. That's followed up by East Carolina, Ole Miss, Florida, Gonzaga, TCU, NC State, UC Irvine, Louisiana Tech, Southern Miss, Nebraska, Arizona State, Charlotte, Florida State, Old Dominion, and Maryland is what you're looking at for a top 25, according to D1Baseball.com. So some exciting times ahead for conference tournaments, some teams that are already in. What you're going to see next weekend, or this weekend coming up, is Memorial Day weekend. You got conference tournaments starting Tuesday, Wednesday, going all through the weekend. On Monday, Memorial Day, there should be an NCAA selection show where they will announce the entire field of 64. So you'll know the automatic bids and the conference champions by Sunday, but you'll hear the selection show next Monday. And what I'm going to try to do on Memorial Day is to wait until that selection show is out so that we can then break down the 16 4-team brackets for the NCAA regionals. Exciting time for college baseball. Can't wait. Going to be a blast moving forward. Okay, let me see. Some good news, sticking with baseball, is I heard is that Omaha, the College World Series, will in fact have 100% capacity for the College World Series. Outstanding news. I think, let me see. Oh, sorry, this just broke. Okay, this is Julio Jones asking for a trade. We'll get to that stuff later. Anyway, College World Series will be 100% capacity. None of this limited capacity stuff. I still do think the NCAA is going to have that in the regionals, which is unfortunate. It is what it is. I think it's foolish or whatever, especially when everything else is still opening up. But 100% capacity for the College World Series. That is outstanding. Additionally, here in California, yes, June 15th, things are supposed to open up officially. All this, now it's safe, right? Not now. You got to wait 2 more weeks. Then it's safe. The Dodgers, Padres, Angels, all California baseball teams will be opening to full capacity for their stadium. So Dodger Stadium, it looks, I think they open up June 15th. So that is going to be pretty cool for LA fans to go out and see their defending champ. Didn't get to see the Dodgers at all in person last year. That so far this year has been limited capacity, but a lot of Dodger fans want to get out there and see their fans, or see their team play as World Series champions. And I know a lot of people are happy because the Houston Astros are coming to town here in the summer, and now that it's going to be 100% capacity, that's going to be quite the scene at Dodger Stadium with who knows what kind of theatrics and things from fans. So listen, the stadium is opening up. People, be safe still. Okay. Don't be idiots, please. Don't be drinking too much and fighting people in the stands. I mean, some things never change, unfortunately, but let's go into this with a positive attitude, can we? I mean, I love the fact that stadiums are opening 100%. Open it all up. Keep opening the doors. I love it. While I was thinking about the Dodgers Stadium opening up, and all the stadiums, really, most Major League Baseball teams are doing this now. there was something I wanted to confess to you guys that I don't know if I've ever told anybody. Maybe I have on this podcast, but it is something that I don't know. I've struggled with over the years, and I'll just come out and say it. I love history. I love Dodger Stadium. I love the Dodger tradition. I love being in the ballpark, but there is something that I've tried so many times to like, and I just cannot. It's blasphemy, I know. And that is the Dodger dog. I'm not that into it. You should be. It's that, the long dog there. You got a little extra meat. It's a Dodger dog. It's hard to even say without your mouth watering a little bit. I always loved Vince Scully talking about Dodger dogs. Thought it was great. But I'm not against hot dogs. I do like hot dogs. But the Dodger dog, I don't think it's that good. I really don't. As far as, the hot dog rankings, it's just the concept is cool, but it's just not that good. I like Nathan's hot dog. Those are amazing. Wiener Schnitzel has some great hot dogs. Heck, Costco's fantastic. You want yourself a hot dog, you go to Costco, man. And another underrated hot dog. I know this is blasphemy, and I'm gonna get some pushback here. AM/PM is sentimental to me for a few reasons, but I think they make a good dog. I do. I think AM/PM is better than the 7. I don't look at. First of all, I don't go around just eating a bunch of hot dogs. Maybe I look like I do, but I try not to eat hot dogs very often. But I started to think about this with stadiums opening up. I started to think about ballpark food. Yes, these are things I think about. I get excited. Me and my good friend Todd Carson, we've gone 2 weeks before, 10 days really, but eating nothing but ballpark food. It was a magical time. But unfortunately, that's not a good idea. You can't go through life eating ballpark food. And it does get old fast, trust me. In the minor leagues, I would be, they bring us food after games. 140 games in 150 days, and they're supposed to kind of bring us what the team would get. The teams after the game, they'd have, little spreads or whatever. But some teams would just bring you a couple hot dogs, and that got old real quick. So for a lot of former minor league umpires, they can't even think about a hot dog because you just even if you didn't eat it, you're just like another one. I can't eat hot dogs 7 days a week or even 3 days a week. So that was something I thought about. I love Vince Scully's description. Farmer John, Dodger dog. I mean, that just gets your mouth watering. But every time I've tried the Dodger dog, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. As far as ballpark dogs, I think the Dodger dog's a little overrated. That's just me. You can put all the stuff you want on it, but it just, the meat, it ain't right. I don't know what it is. I've even tried to make my own at home. Dodger dog, a little overrated. Just, I got to say, I'm being honest. I'm speaking my mind here. I'm allowed to give my opinion. It doesn't have to be a popular opinion, but there's better dogs out there. That's just my thoughts. But on that note, as far as ballpark food, kind of did something I shouldn't have done over the weekend, but I had to try it. Me and Valerie went to like this little food fair thing up the street where it was just like fair food that was with a couple different vendors and things. I was like, sure, let's go. So we went over there, had a few good eats and things, and something I had never tried before that I had to try just to say that I've tried it. I've never had one of those fried Oreos or fried Twinkies. And yeah, I had one of each. I'm not gonna try to hide it. I did. I had one of each. And the buildup, there was a lot of buildup, right? All these years of hearing about it and not ever trying one. And I did, and I was impressed. I wasn't like, oh, I have to have more of these. It was good. It was good. But I wouldn't say, something that was life-changing or anything. I have had some food that is life-changing, and the fried Twinkie, fried Oreo wasn't quite up there, but I'd have it again. I'd absolutely have it again. I wouldn't have a lot of them though, because man, that fried dessert sugar thing, man, that was that it's a lot. It's a lot to process there, but I'm not a huge sugar guy. I do like desserts and things, but the fried Twinkie, fried Oreo, pretty good, pretty good. I think it would be nice on like a cold day, kind of that hot fried dessert, but I'd have it again. It was a big day for me yesterday on Sunday, having to experience that. So I wanted to share that with you guys as far as like ballpark food goes and things. And and maybe this can stimulate some conversation here with you guys, but like ballpark, like one of my favorite things is kettle corn at a Cal State Fullerton baseball game. I don't think there's anything better than kettle corn. Um, I'm a big like tri-tip sandwich fan. So they used to have some tri-tip sandwiches down. Actually, we actually got a few of these when we were umpiring too. But Cal State Bakersfield has a killer tri-tip sandwich, as does Cal Poly San Luis Obispo and San Diego State. So I know those are college stadiums, but it's also, more affordable and things. So a good tri-tip sandwich, I think, is you can't beat. Pizza, I think most pizza in stadiums tastes pretty good. Whether it's a little personal one or just a big slice. It may not be the greatest, New York style pizza or whatever, but when you're at a ball game, you have a slice of pizza, man. Can't go wrong there. Peanuts, sunflower seeds, those are cool to just munch on during a game. I'm not a big cotton candy guy. I know some people just love that stuff. For me, one vice that I used to always have at like Dodger games was a chipwich, or something about having an ice cream at a baseball game. And in that case, the two cookies sandwiched with some ice cream in the middle. Fantastic, phenomenal. Thinking about it right now, actually. So those are some of my favorite ballpark foods, some things that I wanted, as ballparks are opening up, I thought would be worth mentioning. And if you would like, I'd love to hear it from you guys. What are some of your go-tos at ballparks? And if you're not a big stadium, sports attender, then what do you get at, anything, movie theaters, those used to happen, concerts. What is it you like to have when you're at a venue like that, a sporting event? Or maybe some things you cook at home when a sporting event is happening. But yeah, ballpark food, man, it's bad for you, but every now and then you gotta dive in and try a few things here and there at various ballparks, just to kind of taste the land, right? Taste the lay of the land. So anyway, got a question here from Will Tarico. Just sent this in. Let's see what Will has to say. What do you guys think of how Tony La Russa handled the Yerman Mercedes 3-0 home run? I don't think he should have thrown his player under the bus. Also, what do you think about these unwritten rules? 1, don't swing at the first pitch after the pitcher has allowed back-to-back home runs. 2, don't bunt during a no-hitter. And 3, don't steal bases when behind by a large margin. Good question, Will. I'll tell you what, I'm going to save these for Bill Barnes on Wednesday. And for the listeners out there, to tease you a little bit, I do have opinions on this. I think you guys know where I stand on things, but I will definitely go into detail with this and Will's question here. As a matter of fact, I'm going to copy it up here so that I can save this for my Bill Barnes section. And Bill and I are going to get into this because Bill has, been quite critical of Tony La Russa, and we are both obviously not in favor of this new age of baseball, and how I do think it's important for some things to never change, some standards to stay the same. But again, I'll get into all that with Bill on Wednesday for our Wednesday show, and hopefully that'll keep you guys coming back. But anyway, ballpark food, can't go wrong. If you want to vent, you want to let out, you just, hey, your vices, whatever, send them my way, send them our way, so that we can maybe talk about some ballpark food this week. Okay, lastly on the show today, I want to talk about my alma mater, Rio Hondo Prep. They've had some great success here in the spring. Spring sports have been good to them. Keep in mind, the student body at Rio Hondo Prep is quite small. So kind of everybody plays everything, if you will. And at first, this is something I never thought I'd talk about on my podcast, but I'm gonna give the guys a little shout out here. I'm gonna talk to you about men's volleyball. Yes, Rio Hondo Prep boys men's volleyball. They are in the playoffs. Yes, the playoffs. A few years ago, they were in the CIF final, lost in the championship game. So that was a heartbreaker. And when you think about the fact that, man, kind of volleyball just came out as this like sport of like, okay, for guys that don't want to play baseball, go do that. And then it's become this sport now that Rio is proud of and really excels at and tries to win, titles at. So Rio played Fairmont Prep in the opening round of the Southern Section playoffs for the 2021 CIF volleyball playoffs. They defeated Fairmont Prep 3-0 back last Thursday. So their game this week is a playoff game against, Capistrano Valley Christian down in San Juan Capistrano. That game is Wednesday at 6:00, May 26th. So good luck to the Cares out there in their playoff run. Hopefully can take it all the way to the CIF finals again. I'll be tuning in. I don't know much about volleyball. I used to follow the girls teams at Rio, and my senior year, the girls won the first CIF championship. The next year they repeated. So I do remember kind of playing in the band and cheering and stuff like that. So anytime Rio is pursuing a banner in any sport, I'm a fan and want to give a shout out to. So additionally, this is again not something I thought I'd be discussing here, but I saw this headline, if you will, and I couldn't believe it. So I was like, let me open this up and see what's going on here. The Rio Hondo Prep girls softball team is having quite the season, undefeated in league play and has won the prep league, which is a big deal because that's not something that always happens for Rio. The softball program has improved greatly in recent years, and couldn't be happier for them. This Tuesday, 13-0 win over Flint Ridge Prep. Just really remarkable. And it was Tatiana Four, who was actually a junior pitcher for Rio Hondo. She was named 210 Prep Sports Girl Athlete of the Week. So at the plate, she singled, scored twice, and had an RBI. But as a pitcher, she went 5 scoreless innings. Let me see here. Oh, wow. She pitched twice here. So she went against Flint Ridge. She pitched 2 scoreless innings and struck out 3 of the Flint Ridge Prep Wolves. I guess that's their new name. I'm going to call them Rebels because they'll always be Rebels to me. Let's see. But it was what she did Friday that clinched the championship for the Cares. Rio defeated Chadwick 10-0. So quite the beatdown there of Flint Ridge and Chadwick, ladies. Great job. Tatiana Four went 5 scoreless innings. She allowed just one hit, did not walk anybody, and struck out 10 of the Dolphin batters. She also singled herself, scored 3 runs, and had an RBI. So great job there, Miss Tatiana Four, for the Rio Hondo Prep Cares in dominating the prep league play there. Let's see. Oh, so she has Miss Four here has a sister on the team too. So for Rio Hondo Prep, the girls softball team has done extremely well. They've won the prep league, and it looks to be they will be advancing here in the playoffs shortly. So we'll keep an eye on Rio Hondo Prep on the ladies. We like success at Rio Hondo Prep, no matter what it is. Football, baseball, science experiments, mock trial, whatever. We want to applaud excellence out there. So congrats to the ladies down there at Rio Hondo Prep and their softball prep league championship. Keep it going into the playoffs. Put some wins together. Rio Hondo Prep, to my no, they haven't. They've never won a softball championship, so they seem like they might have the team in place this year to maybe do that. How exciting would that be to hang a softball banner up there? Rio Hondo Prep baseball team a few years ago won the baseball title in 2019. I know they're trying to defend that title. But for now, season is kind of a little rough for Rio. They're kind of inconsistent, really, on the boys' side of things. The baseball team, I saw a few tough losses last week, or in recent weeks, losing to Webb like 7-0. That's no good. But let's talk about the positive side of things first. It was Jack Van Cleve with another great pitching performance. The senior is really just mowing people down in every start. He struck out 13 batters in Rio's 8-5 win over Chadwick recently in 6 1/3 innings of work. He surrendered, 4 runs on 1 hit, 4 runs on 4 hits, one earned one. So he walked 2 and struck out 13 batters. So great job there for Jack Van Cleve as Rio takes down Chadwick 8-5. Rio scored 5 runs in the bottom of the 6th to take the lead and take the game as they held Chadwick to 1 run there in the top of the 7th. So let's see here for the Rio baseball team. I want to kind of look at the scenarios here for Rio, and the softball team appears to be doing great. Number 1, and they're going to get a good seed, I'm sure, in the playoffs and do just fine. The baseball team has been a little inconsistent, boys. Let's be honest. They got some big games remaining that they gotta show up and perform for. Let's be honest. The Rio baseball team is 7-8, 5-5 in league, so they really do need to piece some wins together here as the week as the season is finishing up. So Rio plays on Tuesday against Pasadena Poly, the rubber game. It was a few weeks back where Rio and Poly played twice in the same week. They split those games. So a big game here on Tuesday for Rio. And then on the 28th, Rio finishes the season on Friday with one game against Chadwick earlier in this, I'm all over the place. Flint Ridge Prep on Friday, the 28th. Rio had previously lost to Flint Ridge Prep on May 12th, 6-4, and lost also on April 23rd, 6-5. So Rio needs to salvage a win here in the 3-game series with Flint Ridge. And if Rio can win both games on Tuesday and on Friday, they can improve to 9-8. That looks a little bit better than finishing with an 8-9 record, right? Or even a 7-10 record. They're 3rd in the prep league. So they got some work ahead of them. I don't know if they're going to get in the playoffs or not, but we'll be rooting for them and be keeping an eye on them on Tuesday and Friday. So be sure, if you get a chance, guys, get out there, support Rio, watch them online, whether it be Facebook or whatever the case is. But a lot of Rio Hondo Prep sports to follow here in the upcoming week. Softball team is finishing out their season. The baseball team, hopefully they can find a way to get in. And of course, the volleyball team on Wednesday with a playoff game down in Orange County, or maybe it's home, I'm not sure, but playing Capistrano Valley Christian. So that is kind of it for the show today. We've talked about a lot of different things. I've given you NHL playoffs, golf, Major League Baseball, college baseball, boxing. We talked Rio Hondo Prep, softball, baseball, and volleyball. I mean, we had a Suds with Studs segment. I thought it was a great show today. Very much happy with kind of how things are going, and appreciate the support and the listenership. Guys, remember, there's always great ways to follow the podcast. You know where to find us and on social media and everything, but continue to reach out. I love the support. I love hearing from you guys, whether it be questions or whatever. The voice messages, those are always fun to get from you guys. So you can always see those in the episode notes. So quick little link there, an easy way to send in a message to the podcast. But kind of recapping everything, Phil Mickelson wins the PGA Championship. Congrats to Phil. Josh Taylor, the undisputed junior welterweight champion in boxing. College baseball, the final week of the regular season or conference tournaments for a lot of teams. Next week, we'll look at we'll break down the bracket in Division I college baseball. The NBA, we don't care. We did comment on LeBron being somewhat soft. Well, he is soft, but we talked about a lot today. Ballpark Food, man, I'm hungry now. Haven't had breakfast yet. Just a lot of great things. Baseball's opening up. Summer's around the corner, guys. I know it doesn't officially start until June something, but let's be honest. Summer starts on Memorial Day, and that's upcoming 1 week from today. Cannot wait. A normal summer. How about that? A normal summer is looking on the horizon. Cannot wait. Hope you will join us on Wednesday for the weekly Wednesday weigh-in, and again on Friday for a mystery guest that I will tell you guys about later on in the week, or on social media on Thursday when I'll post a picture of our upcoming guest. That'll do it for me today, guys. Appreciate you joining me. Hope you will join us in podcasts moving forward. Have a great rest of your week, no matter what you're doing. But guys, as always, no matter what you're doing, whether you're out on the town or rounding third base, get home safe.